going to hear now is a recording of my mother-in-law, and this is when I sort of introduce the OODA loop to her as far as trying to debase her from her campaign of defaming my wife or dragging my wife's name through the mud to divert attention from her alcoholic husband, Grandpa, as we will call him. And I got my wife's blessing to go ahead and do this. She just wants the bullshit to end. And I took that and ran with it. Not too hard. I don't want to abuse anyone. I don't want to cause anybody any mental anguish. I just want justice served. And this is my way of doing that. So Grandma calls up and is talking, and I get the phone, and I'm just having a casual conversation with her. There's about maybe 8 minutes of dialogue before what you're hearing of just, regular things, and I don't talk too deep to her about anything. I just keep everything to the weather and my kids, if that. I don't have any deep, meaningful conversation with her whatsoever because she will use my words and twist the words around and retell it to my wife or anybody else. So I don't give her any ammunition other than the sky is blue and it's going to rain or something to that effect. And this is from past experiences. That's always happens. So again, but this time around I was curious and I asked her about her husband, Grandpa, and if he's going to be disfellowshipped or is there any hearing being scheduled or something like that, knowing that this particular subject is going to rattle her cage and is going to make her stop, think, and do damage control to deal with this. First of all, I'm a worldly person. Their derogatory description of me in the Jehovah Witness glossary of someone of none of that faith, a non-believer. You're worldly. If you're not Jehovah Witnesses, you are worldly. You belong to the world. So that's what I'm considered. They won't tell me that to my face, but that's the sentiment. So, as a ignorant worldly person might do, I'm asking questions. I got a hold of their Shepherd of the Flock of God book, the Elder's Manual, and the little alcoholic episode that my father-in-law, Grandpa, has done. I'm curious to know if that will result in a judicial meeting. And according to the rule book, it does, at least a hearing. And something like that to my mother-in-law is the last thing she wants to hear or think about, because they are considered pillars of the congregation. They're the darling of the congregation. They could do no wrong. That's the image that they portrayed out to everyone else, and everyone else is eating this up, all the JW congregants. But my wife and I know exactly what's going on, and I think a handful of people in the congregation are beginning to know what they are all about now as well. But with this conversation I had with her, I just kept focused to that one subject of my grandpa possibly being disfellowshipped for this drunken episode that he had that caused notoriety among the congregation. It went public. Yes, he was drinking in his home. He drank in excess and he passed out. He couldn't get up the next morning, or his wife, the mother-in-law, tried to get him up, tried to move him to another chair, and he fell on his face. He was non-responsive. All in all, the bottom line is he was passed out with a blood alcohol level of 300. Mind you, in some states, the level of drunkenness for driving is zero.8. That's a period with an 8. He was at least 290 9.2 percentages over that limit. Pretty much almost alcohol poisoning if it wasn't, caught or checked. So my wife was concerned because my in-laws was in the process of defaming my wife's reputation, try to call her a drunk or an alcoholic or that she drinks excessively, which is not the case. She never exhibited that behavior in the 20 years that I've been married to her. So that was a flat out lie. But the congregation will more than likely believe my mother-in-law rather than my wife. And we knew that was going to happen. It was already happening. So I intervened by asking about, the fellowshipping offenses of Grandpa, and it worked. So I'm not going to get all into it. I'm just going to let the video play, the recordings, and you'll hear the aftermath of that conversation. And to note, the next day, the father-in-law, Grandpa, called me up to apologize for his behavior, which a person like this has never done before. I wasn't upset, but he shouldn't be apologizing to me. I personally don't care, other than, apologizing for the damage they're causing to my wife. But he should have really called my wife and apologized to her and my kids for his stunt. But currently, they're gaslighting my wife as far as that particular episode because they had phone calls before. They call each other, their family at least, and the subject has never come up of my conversation with the mother-in-law and the aftermath of that. It's like it never happened. But deep down inside, I know it's really getting to my mother-in-law, that I know this particular, part of the culture of their JW dogma, and I'm using that to my advantage to gain a foothold into possibly stopping the abuses that she's conducting. So, all in all, here's the video. Thank you.
Tuesday.
Oh, so he's not drinking anymore?
No.
Oh.
No more.
So when's
no more. That's it.
So when's
he's done.
So when's the judicial hearing going to be with the elders?
Well, they came yesterday. And he says just to do with them what they got to do. So
he was in the judicial committee yesterday?
No. They just come to encourage him because they see all the problems that he has, and they're very kind.
Yeah,
and
but
they're supportive. But no, they got to make some decisions.
Yeah, because according to their rule book that I have here, it's when somebody is, let me see, what did it say here? Drunkenness. If that brings notoriety, and a single incident of drunkenness that brings notoriety, which he did with that particular day, and then the pickup truck thing. I'm surprised he doesn't get this fellowship for that.
Well, because he's
No, he doesn't have. There's no proof of that. You know that.
Well, yeah, there is on the brain scans and everything.
But the doctor said that it's not in his records, and himself says he doesn't have it, and he's pretty adamant about that. He doesn't have.
Well, he doesn't want to admit it. In the records at the VA office, the records are there, but the VA hospital doesn't have everything that. Anyway,
yes, they do. All that stuff is linked together. I mean, Kaiser, all their records are linked together by computers, and at a second, every office of this nature knows about it.
I mean, he never did that before.
Because he had the money and the means to go get his liquor, but now he has to resort to asking his sons to go get it for him, or if he could, get it himself, hence the truck thing and everything. So, but yeah, that doctor was telling me that he doesn't have life. It's not in the paperwork whatsoever when we went to visit him. So if they have to do like more, they have to do more tests to see if he does, which he claims that it's really not necessary because, you know, he's not really showing that degenerative of a, you know, of whatever.
Right. So. Well, see, I've seen there's been a lot of changes, so, you know, I give the information.
I think it's depression.
Yeah,
I think that's what he's got, you know, and that could, you know.
He definitely had depression. He definitely was in a darkness. He was in a darkness that he never was in before.
And usually all victims don't have depression because they don't even know that they are depressed. I mean.
Well, they do have depression, but
well.
He's taking care of patients, and
I don't think he's got hope. I'm sure.
Well, I'm gonna have more tests done too, but but
Dr.
He's a very good doctor, and you know, and they didn't have the records at the VA hospital of the brain scans, which they have at the VA office here.
So are there going to be any more judicial hearings with Jeff, or that was it? He's not going to get. He's not going to serve as a servant anymore, is he? I mean, you know, he can't even take care of himself. How is he going to take care of the flock if?
Right. You know, they'll make a decision. Jeff said, just do what you got to do. You know, and
I think this fellowship will be. I think this fellowship would be good for him, since that's what you guys call a loving arrangement. That, you know, just, you know, give him the cold shoulder, you know, for a while. Have him think, you know.
Well, I don't think that's the answer. He hasn't even gone out in service or given a part for a year.
Well, that doesn't matter because he hasn't sinned in that time, so there's no justification for that. But in this case, he has, and you know, in the Elder's Manual it says that you have to have 2 witnesses and 2, you know, elder or male, witnesses that observe that, you know, that stunt with the hospital was because of him being hungover. I'm looking at this rule book that the elders got, and I'm like wondering, because I'm curious. I like to know what the jury.
He never did that. He never drank that much ever.
Yeah, but he knows that's a sin if it brings reproach to your church there, you know, in public. Like he did this time. I mean, he got caught, and now he had people go to the hospital and take time out of their schedule, and it's pretty bad when, you know, it's a hospital liaison committee that went to, you know, to go under his behalf, but it turned out that, you know, he was just drunk, and you know, and I'm sure that's against the rules.
He was almost dead.
Yeah, for excessive drinking, and that right there is a disfellowship offense, really, you know. And then we had the other incident, so it's more than once with the truck, you know.
He wasn't drinking with the truck. He wasn't drinking.
No, but he was going to go liquor, and he got his liquor afterwards. Because after that incident, he still had me bring him to buy alcohol.
Oh, he did. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, after all that, he drove over to our property here, you know, with the broken wheel. You know, luckily he was near us. He parked here, and he still had me take him to the store. He didn't say why, but I kind of knew because I seen the bag, and there was a bottle of liquor in there, and I'm like, really? After this stunt, you're gonna buy himself? You still gonna buy liquor to forget about this?
I didn't know that.
I don't know. I'm really worried about him, and I don't think it's the Yelp thing. I think it's, you know, it's all the other issues that's just piling up. I mean, with financially, and you know, and it's just. So I'm asking because I don't think the elders are doing enough. Maybe, I don't know. I'm assuming. So I got this rule book of theirs here, the Shepherd of Flock of God book that elders have, and I'm looking through all the rules that they have, you know, about judicial, you know, the whole book basically is like judicial hearings and stuff like that. Or what constitutes.
They look at the whole picture too.
I know. Well,
he lost his car. That wasn't so.
Yeah, but
because you expect that, then he lost his one brother, then he just.
Well, but you figure at being a ministerial servant, he should be above all that, really. You know, I mean.
And then he lost.
Yeah, but he's the head of the household. He should be a bit stronger than that. You know.
Well, he's not.
Well, that's why I think that the what do you call it? The elders should do a little bit more to kind of bring it home to, you know, hey, straighten up a bit. You know, maybe this fellowshipping would be a good thing for him. I mean, it's gonna suck, but you know. I don't know. Looking at this book, it looks like it's going to go that way if they really take it seriously. You know, and yeah, I don't think this drunkenness thing, because they were there and they heard it, that he doesn't have opens. And I bet they talked to the doctor.
Only seen him one time.
Yeah, but he's got the records. The records says it all. It should have something there that, you know, they should pop. They should be like the first thing to pop up. I mean, it's all computerized. I mean, that's how the military is with their records. All my records are. I still have records of the military, and I could pop that up in any computer that I go to see my history, including.
I'll have to ask Doctor about that because he's on vacation right now, and he gets home Monday. He gets home Monday, and I'll go, why wouldn't they know that in the emergency room? Why wouldn't they have that record?
Yeah.
And I'll ask him, you know, because
I'm just asking because, you know, believe it whatsoever, and it just kind of makes sense, you know. So, and it does, because I've been in the military and I know how they work. So, you know they had problems with their medical VA, you know, but actually it's for what it is it's a really well oiled machine, really.
They've come a long way.
Yeah, they've come a long way. So
caring for people, they've come a long way.
Yeah, they got the computer systems like Kaiser or any other, you know, hospital that are linked together by networking, you know, worldwide actually. I mean, medical records could be stationed here in Washington D.C. and be available in the battlefields of Afghanistan. You know, in the blink of an eye, really.
Yeah.
So, and he recently got in, you know, using those services, and you know, his record should be, you know, computerized and everything. So, I don't know. I was just curious to see how the elders are handling the situation, because it is a problem, and you know, there's a track record of, you know, him with the pickup truck, and you know, maybe his behavior, not going to the meetings and stuff, and you know. I'm just worried for the old man.
Yeah, he's real down, I'll tell you that. And like to leave him alone, but I mean, that shocked himself.
Yeah.
He went down so low that he can only get up.
Yeah. Who's his elders anyway? Who is it?
Well,
They're elders?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so there you go. There's your two top guys there, and they know the whole backstory.
Son came over with yesterday. So,
were you there?
Saturday.
What became of that? Were you there to witness it?
Well, they asked him a lot of questions.
They're probably setting up for a judicial hearing for a disfellowship, maybe. I mean, it depends. Yeah. How did your dad? Yeah,
he's very honest, and a lot depends on somebody's attitude about what they do.
Yeah, I know.
They don't just disfellowship them.
Yeah.
They'll work with them. They work with them, and it depends on their attitude.
Does he feel repentant of what he did and stuff like that? From what I read here.
Right.
Yeah, I got the book here that tells me, you know.
He has a lot of remorse, he does.
Yeah, well.
I know he does.
He has to prove it to them, and usually that doesn't, you know, that doesn't transpire, you know, evidently sometimes, but, you know. So, we'll see.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, there's not going to be a drop to drink anymore.
Oh, I know. Well, he was at the hospital. That's a big wake-up call there, you know. We talked to him for a little bit, too, saying, yeah, man, you can't do that. I mean, you know.
Even though you weren't truthful with me, I go, but you're not the one that drank it, your dad did.
Yeah.
It's just that, you know.
And that's deceptive right there, and what do you call it, a ministerial servant can't be like that, deceptive to his own son, out of all people, you know.
Well, no, not to his son. I mean, he didn't give him anything, and he did.
Yeah, but there were text messages before that when what do you call it? What's his name? When he came to visit and everything, he would text say that and drank all the alcohol. Can you bring something over? They clean me out, you know. Yeah, and he's got the text message to prove it too. So that's a lie in itself right there. I mean, you know, throwing your other son under the bus to manipulate your other son to buy him alcohol. That's some planning there, and I don't think somebody's gonna have something like that.
You
do something
know,
like that. I mean, because
when there's
that takes
deception,
planning.
right, you deceive yourself, number one, you know.
Well, to
You're
get
doing
something,
stuff.
to get what you want, which is he's addicted to alcohol from what it looks like, you know. I don't know. I just.
I know, that's the thing that bothered me the most.
Yeah, I mean, I hate having.
It, you know,
and I'm being, I'm a straight shooter. I just, want to get to the facts because I have to explain all this to the girls, and it's kind of too early to talk to them about alcohol like this, especially when it involves family. I mean, that's as far as what do you call it, setting an example and stuff like that. I mean, it's good if you hide it. Okay, that's your problem. What they don't know won't hurt, but they were there with us at the hospital, and why do we need to go to the hospital? And I'm glad it was just alcohol poisoning. I'm glad it was just alcohol poisoning, but and nothing else like an aneurysm or something like that. But but I don't lie to the kids. I tell them this is what happened, and this is.
If he went any higher, then the doctor said it would have been a coma.
Yeah.
And then death, and this happens all the time. He said people die of this all the time.
Yeah, when they're alcoholics, I mean,
And then, all these kids with the hazing that die,
Well, I'm not concerned with that.
But it happens.
Yeah, I know. I've been around.
Can't believe that he did this. He can't believe that he did this.
I've been around alcoholics for a good part of my adult life. I wasn't one because I don't like to drink, but I could have got myself out of so much trouble if I just didn't hang out with those guys, but I just hate to see it in the family, It was a good lesson for the girls. You say, hey, don't do this because you can wind up in the hospital with like your granddad,
Well, did I tell you what?
Okay. Yeah, they're probably setting up something to maybe have some sort of maybe a reproof, or they're gonna drop him from being a servant. That's for sure. But I'd be interested to know if they take it any further than that. I mean, it's pretty bad. Everybody knows it. I mean, if it was quiet, maybe they would have slided, but I think the whole congregation knows about it now, so they have to set an example, possibly. If it happens,
I'm happy about it, actually.
Okay.
I am.
Yeah.
That's what it takes for intervention, then it's a good thing.
Well, according to the book here, it looks like they said it's required that that they be a judicial committee because of public drunkenness or something like that. So let's see what happens.
All right. Well, anyway, I appreciate your interest.
I'm indifferent.
No, you're not.
All right then. I gotta get back and fold laundry.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bye bye.